Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Windward Buddhist Temple's Nirvana Day service. I am Lisa Fujikawa, and I'll be your MC for today. We will begin with the ringing of the temple bell, or Kansho, that signifies the beginning of a temple service. It is a deep and sacred ritual steeped in ancient tradition. It is the calling of the people to come together to listen to the Dharma, or teachings. The temple bell represents the gratitude and deep appreciation of the members, friends, and guests of the Windward Buddhist Temple. Please sit quietly in your seat. If you are able, please rise for the meditation, followed by the chanting of the Vandana Ti-Sarana by the congregation in Pali and English, found in the red Jodo Shinshu service book on page 7. Saranam Please be seated. Today's sutra is 12 Homages found in the Jodo Shinshu service book on page 120.
Gods and men all bowing up to Amida the revered in Buddha's wondrous pure lamp. Bodhisattvas gather round, golden form like a mountain king, steadfast like the elephant's pace. Buddha's eyes like a blue lotus. Thus I bow to Amida. Buddha's form round like the moon, bright like thousand suns and moons. Buddha's voice like a nightingale. Thus I bow to Amida. Buddha's figure on Cannon's crown, adorned with wondrous features. Buddha subdue evilness. Thus I bow to Amida. Beyond compare Amida's fear, virtues shining clear like space. O benefit from Buddha. Thus I bow to Amida. Bodhisattvas all renown, malas to praise Amida. Primal vow made for our sake. Thus I bow to Amida. Golden ponds where lotus bloom, Taza throne of goodness. Buddha lives like a mountain king. Thus I bow to Amida. Bodhisattvas come upward, attaining true happiness. They reveal the Buddha's face. Thus I bow to Amida. All life changes like the dew. We have no permanent self. Buddha teaches this law to all. Thus I bow to Amida. No evil in the pure land, and no fear of evil pearls. Faithful hearts are Buddha. Thus I bow to Amida, saving us through many ways. No tempers, no evil friends. Birth leads to enlightenment. Thus Thus I bow to Amida, Amida, thus I have praised virtues boundless like the sea. These virtues shared with others, for birth into the pure Ram. Namandabu, 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 Namandabu. The virtue of Amida's vow is shared equally by all, together attaining awakened mind. We are born in the land of peace. Namandabu, 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 namandabu.
If you are able, please rise for the recitation, the Creed, Ryogemon, which can be found in the Jodo Shinshu service book on page 4. Then remain standing for the Gatha, gentle hands, found in the Purple Praises of the Buddha book on pages 62 and 63. We will sing the song twice because there's only one verse. But first, the Creed. Namo Amida Buddha. Entrust yourself to me. I will liberate you just as you are. This is the calling voice of Amida. My blind passions are embraced in the Buddha's awakening. So the Buddha calls to me. I will liberate you just as you are. Gratefully responding to the Buddha's call, I find that I am already on the path that leads to the Pure Land. And the Nembutsu flows free from my thankful heart. It is due to the guidance of Shinran Shonin and successive spiritual leaders who have transmitted the teaching to us today. Living with the Dharma as my guide softens my rigid heart and mind. Gratitude for the gift of life I have received frees me from becoming lost in greed and anger, and allows me to share a warm smile and speak gently words. Sharing in the joy and sadness of others, I shall strive to live each day to the fullest. Namanda, namanda. be seated. Our speaker today is our own Reverend Shingo.
Namo Amida Buddha, Namo Amida Buddha, Namo Amida Buddha. はい、Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for joining us today for this Windward Buddhist Temple, Nirvana Day service. Today, February 15, is Nirvana Day, which commemorates the passing of Shakyamuni Buddha, the founder of Buddhism. Today, I'd like to share a message titled, Shakyamuni Buddha Taught Us How to Live Together in Peace and Harmony. I'll be talking about 4 things. Number 1, the life of Shakyamuni Buddha. Number 2, the Buddha's teaching of interconnection. Number 3, what happens when we forget that connection? And number 4, why did Shakyamuni Buddha encourage us to take refuge in Amida Buddha? First of all, I'd like to talk about the life of Shakyamuni Buddha. About 2,500 years ago, Shakyamuni Buddha was born in what is now Nepal. His given name was Siddhartha Gautama, and he was born as a prince of the Shakya clan. Although he had every comfort and luxury, he realized that possessions and pleasure don't bring lasting peace or true happiness. Witnessing the realities of aging, sickness, and death deeply moved him. So he left the palace and began his search for the truth. After 6 years of sincere practice, Siddhartha sat beneath a Bodhi tree, determined to understand the nature of life. There, he awakened to the ultimate truth and became Shakyamuni Buddha, the wise one of the Shakya clan. For the rest of his life, he traveled far and wide, sharing his awakening with others. Having lived to the age of 80, Shakyamuni Buddha entered Nirvana upon his passing, leaving behind a path for us to follow. Second, let me talk about the Buddha's teachings of interconnection. One of Shakyamuni Buddha's central teachings is interdependent origination. It means that all things arise due to many causes and conditions. In other words, everything and everyone is connected. Nothing exists by itself. Our lives depend on countless forms of support. For example, the food we eat exists because farmers grow it, drivers deliver it, store workers sell it, and someone prepares it with care. The clothes we wear exist because many people, most of whom we will never meet, help make them. Even our temple is what it is because of those who clean, repair, and maintain it. Since our lives are interconnected, it's important for us to help and support one another. Third, I'd like to talk about what happens when we forget our connection. You may wonder, Reverend Shingo, if we are all connected, isn't that obvious? It's easy to think about connection, but it is not always easy to feel it in our hearts. When we forget this connection, we often end up fighting with one another. As an example, let me share a story about the two-headed bird. In addition to serving at Windward Buddhist Temple, I also work at Honpa Hongwanji Hawaii Betsuin. Oh, have you ever been to Honpa Hongwanji Hawaii Betsuin in Paris Highway? Have you entered their main temple? And have you ever seen this bird's drawing? On the main temple, on the main altar there, you can see a picture of a two-headed bird. This bird had two heads, but only one body. Unfortunately, the two heads did not get along. They argued constantly. One day, one head tricked the other into eating poisonous fruits. The head that ate the fruit became sick. But other head suffered too, because they share the same body. In the end, the bird died. What do you think about this story? The two heads forget their connection, and as a result, something tragic happened. We human beings sometimes make the same mistake. When we forget our connection with others, we fight and cause suffering. The greatest conflict of all is war. If people start a war and use powerful weapons like atomic or hydrogen bombs, what will happen? We may hurt those we call our enemies, but we will also destroy ourselves. If that happens, we cannot laugh at a two-headed bird anymore. This story teaches us the importance of remembering our deep connection with all beings. But then the question arises, how can we truly feel and live that connection in our hearts? Finally, let me talk about why did Shakyamuni Buddha encourage us to take refuge in Amida Buddha? Shinran Shonin explained that Shakyamuni Buddha appeared in this world to reveal to us the boundless compassion of Amida Buddha. Amida Buddha's compassion is infinite and unconditional. It embraces all beings. No one is left out. At our temple, we often recite the Golden Chain of Love. This helps us understand our connection through Amida Buddha's compassion. It begins, I'm a link in Amida Buddha's Golden Chain of Love that stretches around the world. I must keep my link bright and strong. The golden chain represents Amida Buddha's great compassion. When we receive this compassion, we begin to see our connection with all people. It continues, I will try to be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. And knowing that on what I do now depends not only my happiness or unhappiness, but also that of others. These lines remind us to try not to be selfish, but to try to help and care for others. It also says, I will try to think pure and beautiful thoughts, to say pure and beautiful words, and to do pure and beautiful deeds. When we truly receive Amida Buddha's compassion, we naturally try our best to think, speak, and kindly. The golden chain concludes, may every link in Amida's golden chain of love be bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. This expresses a wish that we will all work together to create a peaceful and caring community. In this way, the Golden Chain of Love teaches us that Amida Buddha's compassion helps us become aware of our connection with others and encourages us to try to live by supporting one another. Today, through the Nirvana Day, I shared 4 reflections. Number 1, the life of Shakyamuni Buddha, who showed us the path to true happiness. Number 2, his teaching that all things are interconnected. Number 3, the suffering that arises when we forget that truth. And number 4, Shakyamuni Buddha taught us to take refuge in Amida Buddha's boundless compassion, which helps us realizing our deep interconnectedness and fills out our hearts with peace. Through these teachings, may we learn to live together in understanding and harmony, sustained by Amida Buddha's limitless compassion. Thank you very much for listening to today's message. ありがとうございます。Thank you very much. Let us close by joining our hands together in Gassho and reciting the Nembutsu together. Namo Amida Buddha. Namo Amida Buddha. Namo Amida Buddha. Namanda Namanda.
Thank you, Sensei. If you are able, please rise for the Gatha, Becoming Free, found in the Praises of the Buddha book on pages 30 and 31, and continue to stand for the Gatha Nembutsu, found on page 145 of the same book.
Om Namanda, Om Namanda, Om Namanda.
Please be seated. Thank you for attending today's service. We will have announcements now by Temple President Dennis Toshiro.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. Okay, thank you, Reverend Shingo, on that very important message about Shakyamuni Buddha and, of course, Amida Buddha. Thank you, Lisa, for being our MC, and thank you, Neil, for being the greeter. Thank you, Joy, for playing the piano, and, of course, Ryan, who's recording today's service. We have two new guests. Lisa. Welcome, Lisa. And also Philip. Welcome. Welcome back, Christina. Yeah? Good to see you again. Okay, next Sunday will be our monthly remembrance service. So if you'd like to remember a loved one who passed away in the month of February of any year, you may do so during the remembrance service. Please add your name to of your loved one to the list at the greeter's desk. And if you have a picture of that person, you're welcome to bring it here. Reverend Yuika Hasebe of the Hawaii Betsuin will be our officiant and speaker. A very, very big mahalo to everyone who donated the towels for the Hawaiian Humane Society. You not only overwhelmed me by your generosity, but also the staff at Hawaiian Humane Society. Lisa delivered the towels, and she'll be sharing her experiences there.
So the person who's sitting next to me in that picture, I just explained to her how we have a pet memorial service every year. And she started tearing up, I think, because she had also recently lost a pet. And so she was really overwhelmed, both by the service that we have and then also our donations. Although we had like 10 huge bags, right, of towels and other items. And I was worried that it wouldn't fit at the Humane Society. I had never been there before, actually. Well, it's huge, and there were already just as many bags, if not more, there already when I got there. But she told me that that stuff would the things that we donated would probably be used like within the week. So it sounds like they are always in need of items, and so she was very grateful. So thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Every Sunday after the service, of course, we always have a light refreshment, right? That's kind of an understatement. We do have lots of food. And we're looking for more volunteers who are willing to help with the Sunday refreshments. If you aren't already with a refreshment team and you're interested in joining one of the teams, please see Merle, and she can give you any information that you want and assign you to a team. Now, are there any other announcements? I have. I just received, it was in our mail, this letter from headquarters that announced Reverend Shingo is the, in Japanese, fukurinban, assigned as the assistant head minister at the Hawaii Betsuin, the main temple. So congratulations.
Yeah, now, however, it's only 3 ministers. I'm number 2.
But we know you do so much, so thank you so much, and thank you for also assisting us. Okay, let's do words of thanksgiving so we can enjoy refreshments. Words will be on the screen. We are truly grateful for this wonderful food, a gift of life. May we share its benefits with all beings. As we partake of this food, let us remember Amida Buddha's compassion, which surrounds all people and all forms of life. Namo Amida Butsu. Itadakimasu. Thank you. Oh, sure.
Don't forget that there's Gatha practice for anyone who's interested after refreshments today. I guess you'll hear one of us playing piano and you can come in. Thanks.